Seemed like it's been a while since we played, so we're coming off the open week is good. It's good for us in the sense that we needed it. We need to get healed up. I think hopefully we've gotten that done. We'll see as we go out tomorrow and just kind of see where guys are at. But all indications toward the end of the week, talking to trainers, talking to the guys, is that it was helping us. First 5 weeks have been really physical, some very physical football games. Watching some of those guys play this weekend just reminded me of that. At the opponents that we played, it's been a physical first half, and we need to be healthy and fresh to make a run down the stretch over the next 7 games. So we'll get back to work on a normal schedule tomorrow, leading into UNLV. I know people look at their record and are going to just assume things, but the thing I've been impressed with is how hard these guys are playing. They've taken 2 really good football teams down to the wire the last couple games, both really basically ranked opponents. Fresno ranked and UTSA ranked, if not before they played them, definitely after they played them, and played them to 1-possession games late. And to me, that's a team that's getting better, not worse, a team that's playing hard, and obviously believes in what a brand new head coach is preaching and teaching. To me, that makes them extremely dangerous. And then you can see the skill level on the field. They've gotten better every week. We're going to have to play great ball. The message to our team going into this is just that we've got to just keep improving. We have not played our best football yet. We're happy with 3-2, but not satisfied with that. Seeing opportunities where we could have won 1 or 2 more games along the way, and things that we can fix and improve. And that is exactly what we need to focus our time and energy on. And that's going to be really 1 week at a time. UNLV, not independent of that every week, is going to have to be about us playing the best ball we can play, regardless of the opponent, regardless of home or away, and see if we can become the team that we're capable of. I don't think we've seen that team quite yet. But excited about where our guys' heads were leaving for the weekend to see family, and what I've seen of the guys coming back in the building, they're ready to go. So I look forward to that. Yeah, the majority of the week was spent in terms of our team of just trying to get healthy and do fundamental work. We obviously started looking at UNLV early. I didn't want to start building the game plan too early. I think if you do that at times, you tend to I don't know, guys tend to lose their focus on the details of that particular game plan. So we're normally wouldn't start any earlier than 10 days out. And we kind of taken that approach. But mostly what we tried to work on this week is just getting guys fresh and healthy. We did not put the pads on. We had banged a lot over the course of the last month or two, and we took the pads off and did a lot of cardio work, a lot of speed and agility out in space, throwing and catching. And we'll get back to putting the pads on Tuesday and really focus more on the game plan as of today. Although they haven't had a glimpse of it, today will be the bulk of the install.
Hey, Coach Jake Nielsen. Are you guys excited to finally just be full on in the conference slate now? Just 3 straight conference games and just in the thick of it. Are you ready? Just the rivalry games are over, and the non-conference it's just go time now.
Yeah, I think you just focus on the next one. Don't know that we talk a whole lot about what's conference, what's not. Obviously, the rivalry game, a lot was discussed in terms of the BYU rivalry, but I'll be honest with you, inside the building, we didn't talk about it a whole lot. We really just, again, trying to focus on getting better. It comes with the territory, man. When you get to this time of the season, you know it's going to be every week. Conference opponents better be your best. The thing that to me is standing out that we're talking about is on any given week, anybody can beat anybody. And that's what you're seeing across college football, across every conference. And to me, that's the reality of this particular season, maybe more than any other, is throw the records and the opponents, conference, non-conference out the window, and you better be ready to play your best ball on Saturday.
Coach Josh Salveson, did you have to adjust your expectations as you now get to the bye or go through the bye week and sit at the halfway point? Did you have to adjust your expectations of where this team is compared to maybe where you thought they would be at the first of the year? Or did you have any expectations?
Yeah, I was trying to just be open-minded and let this team kind of show us who they were. Clearly, there were some prizes early when you consider just how big of an underdog we were in week one, the ability to win late, the ability to go on the road and beat a really good Air Force team as we're seeing, and I think we'll continue to see. That's obviously not something that's been done in quite a while. So I still, my expectations are still the same, be the best team we are capable of being on a weekly basis. And I don't think we've been that yet, although we've played well enough to be 3-2, which is a pleasant surprise considering what I think all, the football world thought we would be. I would say that if I polled most people, they'd say they would have thought 1-4 was very possible. And maybe 2-3 would be great, but to be 3-2, I feel great about that. But I also feel like we could have won 1 or 2 other games had we played better ball. And so that's the focus. So surprised, not so much surprised, excited about what's possible. And so that's where we're just trying to keep things is focus on what we can control, if that makes sense.
And then, Coach, I want to ask about Logan Bonner's health. How is he feeling going into this Saturday night?
I think he'll be probably as healthy as he's been since fall camp. He was beat up in the Washington State game, has played with an injury the whole time, has really re-aggravated that injury a couple times. And most of what happened the other night against BYU was, again, the same thing. He did hyperextend the knee, but mainly that thigh area that got hurt in week one was where most of the pain, swelling, and discomfort came from. He felt much better going into the weekend. He threw the ball and moved around well in practice. I would say we have a chance for him to be as close to 100% as he's been since fall camp going into the game on Saturday evening.
Coach, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. They have a very, very experienced running back. Charles Williams has been there for 5 seasons now. From what you've seen from him, what makes him such a dynamic player?
I think just the ability to kind of do everything they need him to do. He's definitely not one-dimensional. And I think that's where you have a guy that doesn't necessarily have to come off the field, can do everything they need, is not a liability. Catching the ball is not a liability. Protecting, can do all those things and then carry the ball as effectively as he does. To me, that's what makes a great back. And they clearly have that. And he's keeping them in it. I know they haven't won yet, but as I said, they've played 2 very, very good opponents 2 weeks in a row and been in the mix to win. And to me, that shows signs of improvement, which makes them extremely dangerous for us and a huge challenge. And he's going to make that. You're going to have to slow him down. You're not going to stop him. You have to slow him down and take away the big play.
You're already kind of touching on it, Coach, but when you look at UNLV, I mean, everybody looks 0-5, and they're the only team that hasn't won. But their combined record of the opponents is 24-5 up until now. So they may have played just about as good a schedule as anybody in the league, too. And you talk to your players about 0-5 and not thinking of that, about it, looking at that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to discuss it. I mean, they're human. They're going to look at it. I'm going to do my best to educate them on what you just mentioned, is that they've played a very difficult schedule. They have been in close games. They've gotten better. They look much different than they did week one. So Coach is doing a great job of sticking with his plan and coaching them up, and the guys are improving. They're going to win some games. We just don't want it to be this week. And if we underestimate them, or if we go in there expecting something other than a very good football team, we put ourselves at risk. We have not played our best ball yet. And so a team coming off 2 losses, having not played great football the last couple of weeks, gotten close. I mean, we just need to be focused on being the best team we can be. And that's really what we're going to try to do. But you're right. I mean, you look at the record and sometimes you perceive or imagine things that aren't there. They are a good football team that's just looking to win their first game.
Coach, this is BC Caldwell with the Utah Statesman. What qualities does Savon Scarber have that you think sets him apart from other players in the Mountain West? And do you think he could break the NCAA record for most kickoff return touchdowns by the end of the season?
Well, I think he can if people are kicking to him. Right now people are doing a great job of trying to avoid letting him get his hands on the ball, and we don't want to be careless. He's made really good decisions. He has turned down some opportunities to return the ball that just would be risky. hang time, depth of kick, direction of kick. So I think he's made really good decisions. If we can get some favorable kicks in the future over the course of the next 7 games, I mean, the guy can cut loose. He has unbelievable vision. He sees holes that other people don't see. He doesn't need a lot of space. He can fly. Obviously, he's got great speed to break. But he has just this anticipation and courage that a lot of people don't have for kick returns. That's not a job that everybody is comfortable in, and he is very comfortable. So I'd like to see him get loose. I'd like to see people get the ball to him. And that's something we've talked about offensively, of trying to create those opportunities as well. But I am hoping that some of the kickers in the near future are going to have to kick to him and give him the opportunity to kind of show what he's capable of.
So, Coach, what have you seen from them? I mean, they lost a close game in the Eastern Washington week 1. They were really competitive against against Arizona State for 3 quarters. Only had one really bad game against Iowa State. But what have you seen from week 1 to now that makes them such an improved football team?
Well, I think the first sign, especially with a new coach, is will the guys play hard for 60 minutes? And they are playing hard, even in close losses, even in the Iowa State game where things did not go well. They played hard the entire game. There's an energy level and an enthusiasm that you don't get with a bad football team. I look at the record, I see the same record, but that's not what if you just threw the record out and you just looked at them for 60 minutes, guys chasing the ball, guys playing at the second, third level, just the enthusiasm as they tap each other on the hat after a big play, their coachability, you don't see them making the same mistakes over and over again. I mean, a lot of signs of a team that is getting better, not a team that is giving in or getting worse. And then you look at the opponents they played and their ability to play tight football late when it got difficult. 38-30 against Fresno, who at the time was top 25. I mean, we all know how they're built. That's a good football team. UTSA is playing very good football right now. They play physical football. And for them to be in that battle late, that to me just shows signs of a team that is willing to play and fight. And that's, to me, is signs of improvement.
What is their style? Offensively, what do they like to play? One back, whatever, and then defensively, what's their style?
Well, they're multiple. They're multiple offensively. I think you're going to see a lot of different things from them. I think their defensive front is the key. That is their most athletic group, and so trying to create pressure and get to the quarterback with the issues we've had physically up front on the offensive line, and hopefully we can be healthier and we can control that. But they are about creating pressure, very similar to us defensively in terms of trying to create pressure, move the quarterback off his spot, make him uncomfortable. And then offensively, you mentioned great running back that they're going to try to be multiple, make it hard for you to exactly know how and where they're going to attack you. And, they have not scored a ton of points, but they've looked better each week at what they're doing. You're kind of hoping that this is not the week they get it all moving in the right direction.
They have given up those 74% in the passing game. Are they struggling in the secondary, do you see, or what was that?
Well, I think that's been their biggest weakness. It's just that they have struggled to cover in the back end. They're built well up front, and when they can create pressure, they help themselves. But if you look at the season and where probably their biggest weakness has been, it would be in the back end.
They've had they've used 4 different quarterbacks this year. It looks like that race has been whittled down to a couple of guys. Brumfield looks like he's their guy when he's healthy. Frill, a true freshman, has also played for him. What do you see from those 2 guys?
I'll be honest with you. That's a question you're going to be better off asking Banda. He's detailed those guys a lot more. They've played so many guys. I've really just kind of been looking at the overall personality of the team. I'm not sure I'm the best guy to answer that question, to be honest with
you. Coach, Ajay asked earlier about Logan Bonner's health, and there's some other guys that have been banged up, like Halle and Calvin. Do you expect all the contributing players to be eligible and make the trip down to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think we're going to be close to 100%. I mean, time's still going to tell on a few guys. The guys you mentioned, Halle is looking a lot better, probably the best he's felt since the season started. Calvin, did get rolled up the other day, but looked really good towards the end of the week. Right now, probably the biggest issue for us might be Poulet. He got his hand banged up pretty good, and it may need some work, which could keep him out for a while. But the other guys that really bumps and bruises, I think the week helped everybody a lot. And I think we'll go into this game way fresher than we've been the last 3 weeks for sure.
A quick thought, Coach, on what happened in the conference this week. Boise's win, and then now we've only got, in our division, only one team that hasn't lost a game. That's Colorado State, and they've only played one. So any thoughts about that in the conference?
Yeah, to me, it's just obvious that you got to be ready on Saturday because it does not there's not just a clear team that's overall better than everybody else, and anybody can win on any given week. It clearly shows the strength of our league for us to play BYU as closely as we did late in the fourth, and then Boise to be able to beat them. To me, I think that shows what our league is capable of. We've seen that a lot of our out of conference wins that the league has already had, but everybody's beating each other up, and it's gonna the next 6-7 weeks is going to be crazy in this league because anybody can win. You really have to throw the records out the door and just look at the team, what they bring to the table that particular week. Maybe on the road, playing at home is going to play some factors it clearly already has, but it to me looks like a very solid, very competitive league across the board, and it's kind of anybody's game at this point.
Coach, you're going to miss out on the Sam Boyd Stadium experience down there in the desert, but you guys are playing at a brand new stadium, Allegiant Stadium for UNLV. Do you care at all? Are you excited for your team to play in a state-of-the-art NFL stadium?
Well, I've been in the Sam Boyd Stadium a handful of times, to be honest with you, out in the desert. I kind of thought it was cool being out there. Our guys will be excited, I think, when they walk in. Anytime you walk into a stadium that is this big, I mean, it's just – the thing is massive. It's going to be gorgeous. It's brand new. There's a wow factor when you walk in, but I think pretty quickly you realize it's time to play ball. Not likely to be a huge crowd. Obviously, with them being 0-5, don't expect there to be a huge roaring crowd. To me, my big concern is we've played in great environments for 5 weeks in a row, and I want to make sure that our guys don't expect the energy to come from outside. It's going to have to come from our sideline. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd that follows us down there, but it's still a massive place that's likely to be less than half full or even worse. And so you've got to bring your own energy. And to me, that's the biggest challenge, is bringing your own energy in an environment that's going to be pretty quiet.
I guess I'll start. Hunter, Al Lewis from KBNU Radio. Just give us your feeling of coming to Utah State and playing already 5 games, and where you think this team is, and what have you got coming up?
I've really enjoyed, my time here at Utah State. I think I made a great decision coming here. I've just loved the coaching staff, love the culture that they're building, love the players, love just the whole, environment. The MAV on game days is, it's live. And I think this team so far, I think, where we were projected in the preseason, a lot of people, they doubted us. They didn't think, we had an opportunity to really be good this year. And I think that we kind of used that to motivate us. And we really felt like we had the pieces in place. We felt that, with the players returning from last year, kind of that hunger they had, the new guys coming in that transferred in, I think we felt that, we had the opportunity to make something really special this season.
Hey, Hunter, Jake Nielsen, Utah Statesman. You're coming from Michigan, and obviously a massive program. They got the biggest stadium in the world almost, right? And now you come out west to the Mountain West. What are some of the differences just that you've experienced? And then also, what are some of the similarities still just playing FBS football?
So I'd say some of the differences, just like in terms of style of play, some of the teams we've played so far have been a little more open, spread out. I mean, there's still spread teams in the Big Ten, but I think you see a lot more I guess old school football, you could call it, a lot more fullbacks, a lot more 2-3 tight end sets. And then in terms of similarities, I think, football is football. Like, there's still high level athletes in the Mountain West. We've played high level athletes in the Pac-12. So I think just kind of that week to week thing of, you're looking at players like, all right, they have numerous guys who are going to be in the NFL in a couple of years. We have guys that are going to be in the NFL in a couple of years. So I think that's kind of where the similarities lie.
like Hunter on the defense. You guys play in and play out and play pretty well, and all of a sudden give up big. And that seems to have been something. What have you talked about in your meetings about stopping that kind of thing? Because those are backbreakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one of the big points of emphasis over the bye week was just try to eliminate those critical mistakes. When we get graded, we have something called critical errors, and usually in the games that we've lost this year, it's like those couple of critical errors that kind of just are massive for the outcome of the game. So in the BYU game, for instance, the offense goes down, scores, makes it 27-20. We have an opportunity as a defense right there to get a stop, get us back in the game, tie it up. And we have a couple of critical mistakes. And, from there, it's just hard to overcome another 14-point deficit. So I think just over the course of the bye week, we all really, on the defense, looked at ourselves in the mirror. We were like, all right, what can I do individually to make sure that I'm doing my part? Because our defense is really structured on everyone just doing their job, doing their assignment. And when we do that, we play well. Like last game, I think we had 11 or some tackles for loss against a team that doesn't give up a ton of tackles for loss. Against Air Force, we had plays where I think against Air Force, I want to say we held them to like 2 or 3 yards on first down, which against the triple option team is rare. But then there were those couple of plays, like you said, over the course of the game that we just happened to let something, spark for a big play, and that kind of killed the momentum we had. It killed all the negative yardage plays that we create. So I think just really look at yourself in the mirror and say, all right, no matter what happens on this play, if I do my job and I trust the other 10 guys to do their job, then we're going to be successful.
Hunter, Ajay Hobson.
Go ahead, Ajay.
Sorry, Jason. Jacob had asked Coach about the atmosphere playing in Allegiant Stadium, the beautiful place that it is. It is going to be probably more than half empty. How do you adjust just your mentality or adrenaline rush from playing 2 games back-to-back, sold-out crowds, crazy atmospheres, to one that's going to sound like maybe like a mortuary for a little bit there?
I mean, at the end of the day, even though it's great to have the crowd on your side, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still football. Like all those times during camp, we were, on the practice fields, there were no fans. When we were in the stadium, no fans. I mean, even last year, coming from the Big Ten, we didn't have fans for most of the season. So, I mean, it's something we're all kind of used to. So I think it's really just comes down to, at the end of the day, it's football. So you got to do your job. And if the fans are there, great. But if they're not, you still have to do your job.
Hunter, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. Coach Anderson was talking about this a few minutes ago. It's been a really unpredictable season in college football. It's a week by week game, clearly, even more so than ever. How exciting does that make a season like this, where it's just so unpredictable?
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. I mean, it really causes you to even focus and tune in even more, because you know that no matter what happens, no matter who you're going up against, they have an opportunity to beat you if you don't, come to play. So I think we kind of, like, we saw that the first 3 weeks, the first game, we're like 17-point underdogs or something like that. And, we go in and win. Second game of the year, we're playing one of the best FCS teams in the country. And they had us 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. And, it's like, all right, this is our first home open. This is our home opener. Team's not bad. So we really had to lock in these last 3 quarters. Week 3, playing Air Force, triple option, extremely disciplined. And then these last 2 weeks, we made a lot of mistakes, but we were still in positions in the second half to be able to, come back and make it a game. So I think it just goes to show that no matter who you're playing, no matter who it is, no matter what the record is, you have to take everyone seriously.
Any thoughts quickly on UNLV? I know you really will put most of the stuff in this week, but have you looked at them somewhat? Do you have any idea? They have a good running back, a passer, a quarterback, a young kid passing. They've actually thrown the ball a little better lately. What do you think?
Yep. No, I watched a little bit of film over the bye week on them. And, they're definitely a talented team. I think their record is not really indicative of the talent they have over there. I think that they play hard. They've been in a lot of close games this year. So they're definitely not an opponent we're taking lightly. And, coming off a bye week especially, sometimes you might get a little more lackadaisical in practice. So I think we really have to just make sure that when we step on the practice field tomorrow, we're tuned in, locked in, and not taking anything for granted.
Under Dom Tatum goes down against Air Force, and all of a sudden you're the starting safety. How's that been for you, just stepping up into that role? And what is his loss? What has that meant? But then how have you guys been, you and Monte and some other guys, been able to step up in your bigger role?
Mm-hmm. Dom, he's a great player. He made a lot of plays this year, a lot of big plays. And his loss, we felt it across the room. But as soon as he went down, it was, all right, even though we lost a great player, we lost someone who's, a brother to us. We can't let this cause any drop off. We have to just keep going out there, keep doing our job, just making sure that, whenever an opportunity comes to make a play, we make it.
Anything else for Hunter?
I'll ask you one more really quick. Ajay mentioned you're going down to Vegas, and it's probably not going to be a huge crowd, but it's still an NFL stadium. It's where the Raiders play, right? Does that mean anything to you? Are you excited at all to get to play in an NFL stadium?
Yeah, it's always cool playing in a NFL stadium. I think in my life I've played in MetLife Stadium. I've played in what's the name of the Falcons' new stadium? Is it it's not the Superdome anymore, right? It's the Mercedes-Benz. That's it, Mercedes-Benz. So I played in those two. So being able to play in the third, that's definitely going to be an enjoyable experience.
Matrix, Al Lewis, KBNU. How have you felt about the 3-2 start? And then what does this team now have to look forward to, do you think, or what's your feeling towards now really conference play almost the rest of the year for the most part?
I'm sorry, you said, how do I feel about the 3-2 start?
Yeah, how do you feel about that? And then how do you feel now about just mostly playing conference the rest of the season after the bye?
I think it leaves me pretty confident. At the same time, just a little disappointed because I know we haven't played our best football yet, especially as an O-line. But coming off a bye week, everybody's able to recover, whatever you need to get better. A lot of people just living in that training room. So I'm pretty confident going into the rest of conference play that we'll be able to hopefully go on a run. And that's what we plan to do.
Dimitri Salveson, I know you guys aren't about excuses, but you've been pretty thin on the offensive line with at least one guy maybe going out per game in 3 very physical games back to back to back. How do you feel like you guys are holding up on that side? And just tell me about your, I don't know if I want to use the word satisfaction, but dealing with it, you guys have dealt with injuries, just holding up on the offensive line.
For the most part, that's just football, man. People always get hurt, people get injured, whatever, banged up. But you got to roll with the punches. I think we're doing not too bad. We're faring pretty well, I guess, especially with how thin things are. But coming off a bye week, like I said, we really focus on regaining our strength and just rehabbing everything that we need to rehab to get a lot more guys back to 100%. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can show out this week and perform well.
Dimitri, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. I think you guys have fared pretty well this year as an offensive line. What do you think of what's been the biggest strength to the unit this year, and what things do you think you need to shore up as an offensive line moving forward?
I think just like any good offensive line, we've meshed pretty well off the field as well. Something that we really need to work on is establishing the run early. If we're able to do that, it opens up our throwing game. We got plenty of receivers who can do a lot of stuff. Who are really, really good, along with our quarterbacks. So if we can establish that run early, it's common sense. We open that up, then we open up every other opportunity that we can get.
I was going to ask you, Dimitri, about you won't play against his unit directly, but TJ Woods is coaching down at UNLV for their offensive line.
Yeah.
And you know a little bit about him. What can you say about that matchup?
I'm excited, man, especially because I love Coach Woods. He's a great guy, great man, great coach. So it'll just be fun. Just like when we played Boise, I enjoyed the matchup against Coach Frank Miley. It's exciting, especially when you know someone on the other side of the ball makes it a little more, interesting for us, just personally. But he's a great man, and I'm looking forward to playing them this week.
Minchik, what are your thoughts on UNLV? They're 0-5, but they played really close games against good teams. So do you think that's a deceiving record, or just what are your feelings going into this one?
We treat every week for ourselves like we're 0-0. So we got to treat them like they're 5-0. No matter what team it is, we got to go in with the same mindset to get a job done. We got a mission going in there, and it's to win. Treat them like we're playing Alabama. Treat Alabama like we're playing them. No matter who it is, we're going to always treat them with the same respect that they deserve. And that's how you got to do it. Because at the beginning of this season, we weren't supposed to win any games right now, especially against Washington State or Air Force. So clearly underdogs can always do something. And I'm not calling them that, but for the most part, like based on their record, that's what it is. But we got to give them that respect that they earned and they deserve.
You're one of the few guys maybe on the team who might remember a UNLV Utah State game. Seems like we haven't played them in so long ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about playing them? Coach said that I don't know how much you've looked at them. He said their defensive line might be the best part of their defense.
Yeah, man, they're pretty athletic and pretty physical. From the last time we played them, it was the same way. They had a few good players that really tested us. Came out flat against them when we played them over there last time. I had to kind of rally back to get the win over there, but they're a good team. Of course, they fell short a few times, but like I said, we got to treat them with that respect because you never know what could happen in college football.
What are some of your thoughts? Just what you mentioned just now, you never know what could happen in college football. Just within the conference, and then also just nationwide, A&M beats Alabama and stuff. What are your thoughts on just kind of how crazy of a season it's been so far?
It's been definitely very crazy for everyone, and I just think that for the Mountain West personally, I think we're showing what we can do. I think we've performed really well against other conferences, bigger conferences. So it's exciting to see the Alabama upset. That was even crazier. Anything can happen, man. When you strap up them pads, you can't be afraid because there's always that chance, that possibility that you can win no matter who it is. So college football, man, you got to love it.
Anything else for Dimitri?
Last thing I'll ask, same thing I asked Hunter just now, but you're going to playing in Vegas at a new stadium. It's an NFL stadium. Crowd's probably not going to be huge, but it's still where the Raiders play. Like that's got to be pretty cool, right?
It's the best. I'm a big-time Raider fan. I'm from the Bay Area, so I'm excited, man. Coach Gruden, let me know something, man.
Anything else for Dimitri?
Yeah, Dimitri, just quickly, one last thing. Last year was so uneven the way it was with COVID and not playing or not going to play or whatever. Has this been so much more satisfying for you to come back and have that extra year and been able to play with this kind of environment this year?
Definitely. It was definitely a blessing to be able to come back and play with proper training, proper rest, and proper practice. It's been amazing. Definitely a much better way to go out. And hopefully we can finish out the rest of the season with dubs.